Hello guys, this is Ty, aka the Flip Man. This video, how it all works from A to Z in one video. Now obviously I have the 150 plus videos on YouTube to tell you and going more in depth on every phase of the business, but I just wanted to put all of this in one video. The only way this stuff works well is control, because what you're doing is the definition of wholesaling for me is being able to put real estate deals together, whether it's residential or commercial, without using your own cash or credit. And the only way that you're going to create value to a potential buyer that does have either the cash or the resources, whether it's financing, to purchase a piece of real estate, you have to create value from the beginning. And normally with houses, that's just a huge discount. And if you're not familiar with that's going to vary. But I'm going, just for the sake of this argument, I'm going to use $100,000 as a number. But, okay, it all starts with the deal. Some people say find buyers and then go out and find what they're looking for. In essence, that's what you're going to do. But starting out, that may be, but I wasn't taught to do it that way, and I don't teach it that way. And here's why. And some of you know this because you've spoken to me. It's not difficult to give away money. That's your buyer side. It is very difficult to get people to give you money. That's your seller side. So which one do you think you should spend most of your time on? The easier side of it or the harder side of it? The harder side of it. Because once you create a lot of equity in a property, investors are begging you to take those deals off your hand because that's money that you're giving away. You're getting paid for it. You're getting paid for it well, but you're giving away. So don't spend a lot of time, especially starting out, looking for buyers. It's just not necessary, because if you find a deal, you advertise it, your phone will blow up. It's that simple. If it's not blowing up, there's two things going on there. Either it's not as attractive a deal as you think it is, or you're not doing something correctly as far as marketing. I had to get that out of the way before I get into the entirety of a deal. Okay, so first thing you're going to do, all right, people always say, well, I need a contract, blah, blah, blah. There are a lot of contracts out there. I give away my one-page contract that I've been using for over 13 years. I give that away at junkers101.com. You just go there, submit your email, your name, bam, it'll email you a copy of it for free. I give that away. Okay, but even if you don't have a contract, I don't like to use the word easy, but that's the only way I can explain it. Your objective initially is to find a deal. Now you can look for deals online, driving around or whatever. That's fine, that's free. But it may take you a long time to find a deal. It can get very, very frustrating. If you have the patience, you can probably do it. I really don't suggest looking for deals online. It is possible to do it that way, and I know people do it, but it's very difficult. And it takes a lot of persistency and patience, but it is free to do it that way. But you have to understand that whenever something is already being advertised online, most of your buyers, they do the same thing in a sense. Or even if you present the property to them, and if they Google the address, if it's being advertised online somewhere, 9 times out of 10 it's going to pop up. And whoever placed that ad that you originally found, that ad is still there and their contact information is still there. That could cause an issue, even if you have it under contract. I'm just telling you. It's possible, but understand that's very difficult. What I always teach my students to do, because I try to take out the frustration part of it, is market yourself, advertise yourself, just like any other business. Let people know you exist. That's why you see the We Buy Houses signs throughout pretty much any market in the country. Obviously, within certain cities, depending on where you live, you may not see any, but you go into another part of your city, there will be a lot of them. That has to do with what, number one is sometimes it's just the people that live there, they're not going to let you do it. They're going to take them down themselves. It may be the city or that part of this, of that particular market. And the other part where you see the signs, a lot of times they just have bigger fish to fry than the chase or pull down signs. They just have other things going on, from crime to poverty to whatever. They just have bigger fish to fry. So, all right, but you're going to market it. So direct mail is probably the other option that you want to take advantage of. And that's through yellow letters, which I have a very unique way of doing it that goes beyond yellow letters to make it more efficient. It's a little bit more time consuming, but it actually saves you money, but it's more efficient, meaning you get more out of your actual efforts as far as trying to locate deals. Okay, but assuming that, so you get your phone ring. That's the key. Get your phone ring with motivated sellers. So once you get your phone ring, someone calls you, say they call you and you get a price. You know, I normally don't make offers unless I'm forced into it. And if I am, I'm going to normally offer something that I'm embarrassed about. If you're not embarrassed, normally you haven't offered low enough. Some people have a little more tolerance than others, but normally that's a good rule of thumb. But in order to know what you need to offer, you have to know what the house will appraise for in excellent condition. And the way that's done, the way I do it, and I've been doing it a long time, so a lot of times when they call, I already know what the house in a particular area is worth, but I still like to back myself up. Just simply Google the address. Okay, when you Google the address, sites like Zillow, Trulia, HomeSnap, Homes, Realtor.com, Homes.com, all of those sites are going to pop up and give their own values. What you're looking for is some consistency on those values. Okay, the Zillow may give you 100,000. HomeSnap may give you 110. Realtor.com may say 57,000. Trulia may say 105. So you got that 100 by Zillow, 110 by HomeSnap, 105 by Trulia, but you got 57 by Realtor. I'm going to use those three that are consistent with each other, the 100, the 105, the 110. So there's a number anywhere in there. You don't have to be exact. You just need a general number. So now when I'm evaluating this property and the seller said, hey, I want 80,000 for it, not a deal. Just doesn't, the formula doesn't. There's a formula for it. It's basically ARV, which is after repair value, or basically what the house will appraise for in excellent condition, times 70% minus the repair, which you may not know that. You can just throw in a number, just say 15,000. You know, it may be more, it may be less. You just throw in a number so you don't waste a lot of time. Then you have to also think about your fee. I normally say if I want to make $5,000 or $10,000, I'm going to double it and subtract it. So for the sake of argument, I know that if a property, if I said the ARV, what it will appraise for in excellent condition, if it's 100,000, the seller calls me 80, I know off the top, 70% times 100 is 70,000. And they want 80, we're not close. Now you can still make an offer, but generally speaking, most people are not going to jump from 80 to 40, because 40 is probably where you really need to be, or 30. You can make the offer, but normally you're going to be wasting your time. It's rare that I've seen that over my 13 years of making offers. So with that being said, but for the sake of just going through an entire deal, say they call you, so it's $100,000 towards the ARV, but for whatever reason you can get it for 30, whether it's they don't care, condition of the property, the repairs, whatever, you can get it for 30 grand. All right, so now you will enter into a purchase and sales agreement, a real estate contract with the seller. I use just a simple one-page contract. Now, with most contracts, to make it binding, you want to initiate earnest money. There's no law on how much that should be. If you're dealing with realtors, normally that's going to be a minimum of 500, but normally they're going to be asking 1,000. I rarely deal with realtors. I deal with just the average blow-joe seller that owns a piece of real estate. Okay, so I can get away with $10 a lot of times. Sometimes, most of the time 10, go up to 50, sometimes 100. I've done 500, but it's rare. But normally I can get away with $10. In some markets, depending on the price of the houses, you may not be able to get away with 10, but 100 will suffice in most cases, because I say, why would someone do that, with their house? Blah. You have to understand they're very motivated. That's the only way you're going to get the price that you need anyway. They have to be highly motivated to get the price that you need to work. Okay, we have the contract between the seller and I at $30,000. Okay, now I have some of value. Now, the other thing is that I need access to the property. Sometimes you'll be able to get it. They'll give you a key, you can put a lockbox on it. Sometimes they won't. If they won't, every time a buyer goes over there, you will need to go with them. What I'll do, especially if the property is vacant, I'm going to do this anyway. Whenever I go out and inspect the property and look at a property, because I'm not going to go and look at a property unless the price works over the phone. I'm sorry, I left that part out, which is very important. So I may get 100 calls in a month. I may only go look at 5 of them. You see them? So you get that. So you're operating off a very small percentage. The majority of the people that call you, they're not going to be deals. So if you're experiencing that already, I experienced the same thing. That's why I knew I had to keep my phone ringing consistently to do the number of deals I want to do per month. With that being said, so if I go out and take a look, a view of the property, why not take your smartphone? Who doesn't have a smartphone? If you don't, you need to get one. Video the property. Video the property, upload it to YouTube. If you don't know how to do that, go to YouTube and say, how do I upload a video from whatever type of phone you have? YouTube will have tons of examples on how to do that. It simplifies the process. And you don't know how, and there is a proper way to video a property. A video period is that people most of the time will hold the phone vertical because that's the way they talk on it and they'll video that way. But in reality, you need to hold the phone horizontal or sideways when you video. So that's the way most phones are set up to get a HD or wide angle on it. So, but you video the property. The purpose that you do that for is number one, especially if you're working with me, so I can see what you're seeing to help you with calculate repairs. But mainly you're doing that for your records also, but also when you get ready to market the property, it's a lot easier whenever a potential buyer calls or texts you, and you can just text them a YouTube link and they can video the property. So if they see the property on video, inside, outside, and the area around it, and they're still interested, the chances of you probably doing a deal with that buyer goes up exponentially. You're not wasting their time and you're not wasting your time, because if they still want to see it after they viewed the video, normally you're in the ball game. And it, again, it's just being more efficient and just using technology to your advantage. So assuming you got a buyer, you advertise the price, you have it under contract for $30,000, and you advertising it, we'll just say $49,500. So that's a $19,000 500 spread. It may need repairs, or we'll just say $15,000. Okay, so you start to entertain calls. All right, you could only sell it to one person. All right, say 20 people call you. The other 19, you want to collect their information for future deals. This is how you build a buyer's list. You allow your deals to build a buyer's list. Okay, so one guy steps forward and say, hey, I can't do $49,500. Will you do $42,000? I'm taking that. That's a $12,000 spread. I'm all over that. Yes, my next question is, how fast can you close? The response that you want to always hear, as soon as we can get a clear title. You don't want to hear, well, I need 30 days, 20. You're dealing with another wholesaler. Don't even waste your time. You want to hear, as soon as we can get a clear title. That's cash buyer talk. That's what I like to call it, cash buyer talk. All right, so when you meet with this guy and you're going to do a contract at $42,000 with him, you're going to get an earnest money of I want $1,000. You know, that's all I'm going to take it serious. He doesn't have to give it to me, but he has to at least put it up with the attorney and I can verify it. Normally they give it to me. It just depends who you're dealing with. Okay, so now you have both contracts in place. You have contract A of $30,000, contract B for $42,000. Did you notice there's no assignment fee contract in this? Your contract B is the assignment contract. And what I mean by that is that instead of advertising an assignment fee, you want to advertise a price, and your assignment fee is built into that. They don't know what you have the property on the contract for with the seller. It'll come out eventually because we have to close on it. But you want them to negotiate a price that works for them versus them trying to negotiate what they think is good for you, how much they think you should make off the deal. So you're negotiating a price and your assignment fee is built into the price. Okay, so with that being said, the next thing is that now it's time to go to closing. A lot of people say, well, I need to find a title. You don't worry about that, because in most cases, your buyer is going to dictate that. So whenever you have the second contract in place with your buyer, you want to know from them where you're going to close. Okay, tell you, you'll need a contact person there. So you'll have a copy of the contract, which he may submit his contract, or that's fine, but you'll email a copy of contract A with the seller, a copy of contract B with your buyer, and what I call a closing detail document. What that document tells is the date that you should be trying to close, the property address, the seller's name, the buyer's name, explaining how your assignment fee is going to be paid, and also who's paying the closing costs, which most of the time the buyer pays it. It's not set in stone, everything's negotiable. Sometimes I paid all the closing, depending on how much money I'm gonna make, or if I think I'm gonna lose the deal, whatever. What's half a zero. So anyway, I'd rather pay $1,200 in closing costs to pick up a check. Well, let me just say this. My assignment fee may be $12,000, and the closing costs may be, we'll just say $1,500, which is a lot. I'm just using it as an example. And the buyer don't want to pay it. So I would rather lose $1,500 to make $10,500, which is the difference between $12,000 and minus the closing costs, than to lose the deal over $1,500. That's just me. Now you can do however you want to. That's just me. So now we have everything in place. So they pull the title, everything checks out. Sometimes it doesn't, you work through it, but we're assuming it checks out. So whenever we go to closing, now the seller gets their $30,000. I get the difference between the $42,000 and the $30,000, which is $12,000. Assuming I don't pay any closing costs, and the buyer gets the house. Now, that's a wholesale deal. It really doesn't get any simpler than that.